All right, here we go. So tell us what you were doing before Year Up, how you heard about Year Up, and what made you decide to join Year Up.
It's an amazing question, and I'll reply with a great answer. Before Year Up, I was an immigrant. I came from Philippines. I had 2 years of accounting experience in college and computer science as well. It's funny how I ended up working 6 years in the food industry right after college. Because I migrated here, my degree was not accepted. So I ended up working for Domino's as a manager. From there on, I worked up the ladder and I became a manager for Safeway and the seafood department. And I met a person that told me about Europe because I've been working 40 hours and money was still not enough for household expenses back in the Philippines. I'm putting my sisters to college. I have 3 sisters. That was a year ago. I was put on the wait list, but I was waiting. I was still waited 6 months just to enter Europe. Once my sisters got here, I have money already prepared, and then now that they're graduated, they're working, they're supporting me to attend Europe and develop my tech skills and actually enter the tech world that I've been wishing to work for.
Okay, all right, good. And why do you want to work in tech, Enoch? Am I saying your name right?
Yes.
Enoch. Okay.
Yes. Renee, Joey. When I was 18, my dad got laid off his job. I had to step up. I made a website. I used Weebly. I also used Squarespace, but Weebly got me money for my family's electrical bills. I got money from there to pay for one of my younger sister's elementary school tuition fee, and that really impacted me really well. Just from simple Google AdSense, I was earning $300 in the Philippines. In Philippines, you multiply that by 40. And I have been in love with HTML ever since then, and I want to pursue a career in web development. That's why I'm here right now in Europe.
Great. So I'm really curious, just what would you say is your biggest challenge or growth area just throughout the learning and development phase here? And just, so a follow-up question I'm going to ask you after that is just, what did you do to overcome that challenge? And, what are you going to plan to do moving forward just to ensure that you're set up for success on your internship in that particular area?
Thank you, Joey. My biggest problem at LND on Module 1 was my organization skills.
Okay.
I had feedback. I talked to my coaches about it and my program manager, and we have created steps to come through. I was having this organization problems because my mind processed a lot of ideas at the same time, and it gets too full, and I just scatter around, that feeling that I'm having too much, getting overwhelmed. But now I have organizational tools that me and Laura made on my Google Docs that organizes every single thing. So I have that capacity to just take in data and then do multitask as many as I can, but it's going to be organized and I won't fall off track.
All right.
Great. So, do you already have an internship job description, or do we?
Yeah, you guys have received the internship job descriptions in the packet. So, explain what makes you a strong candidate for one of the internships that are in that packet.
I am a suitable internship candidate just because I have earned it since day one that I have been working and developing my tech skills here in Europe. I deserve to have a chance because I have the same skills that anybody would have, but I try, and better it every single day. Quite an example is I've been called a jack of all trades. I can do IT.
Okay.
I can do networking. I also have awards in networking in high school for crimping wires, and I won second place. But my strong area is web development and public speaking, and that will serve me well in internship.
Alrighty, Knox, so describe a time to us where you might have had conflict at the workplace. You worked at Safeway, and you worked at Domino's, you worked at Pizza. So describe a time where you had some kind of conflict, and how did you handle that conflict?
I have this most recent conflict scenario that happened to me in a while. My dad is on post-surgery from his aortic dissection, and I wanted to go to every class in Europe. I had to be with him, but I didn't want to miss any classes here because I know every day is very important for me to develop and train. What I did is, early in the morning, I started driving my dad all the way down in Stamford, and I rode the train, left the car there, and rode the train back here to be able to attend half the day. And since he's around nurses, right? I even though I knew that I was gonna get half the day, but it was still important for me. I came through, got through the last two classes, and then went back to my dad. So I will open anything if I'm really interested and devoted into something. I will make adjustments.
Okay.
So I'd love if you could just tell me about a time when you were in some kind of like leadership position. Whether it was like an official one, like at work, or maybe at in a group project, or really any example where you were just leading your peers. And in that situation, you may have faced like a challenge. And I'm just curious, like, what that challenge was and how you responded to it.
Amazing. I recently had speared this photo shoot event with Seoul. So I collected most of our students before the LinkedIn event. Everybody came there prepared with expert profiles, with nice pictures. They're going to use it for their website portfolios. The problem there was everybody wanted to go first, and it was hard choosing who goes first. I don't want to be biased, so I stated it out that those who are going to go first is the one who signed the list first, because they do get favors because they saw the email first, they signed it up first, and they do seem like they're dedicated to the idea of having their photo shoot because they have been checking their emails first. But I gave way for those who are really time pressured. For example, two of them were moms and they needed to get home to their children. I talked to the other members if they would allow these two mothers to go home first. They have to tend to their child, and everybody accepted it, and they were very receptive, and they understood their circumstances.
Great, thank you.
So the tech world is very fast moving, right, and ever evolving. So how do you keep up on what's going on out there?
JavaScript. I had a mentor. I met him. He's a web developer in LinkedIn. We are talking about this thing that JavaScript is going to be really big in the future. It's evolving, and everybody's trying to learn the libraries, like jQuery. He told me to learn basic, regular, vanilla JavaScript, and that will help me learn any languages that will follow it. It will just give me structure and fundamentals. And I'm following his step-by-step guides. But before that, I tried to furnish and perfect my HTML and CSS skills first, so that I won't fall behind for those who have detailed augments on their website.
So that's great, personal skills, professional skills, but how do you keep up with what's going on in the tech world? Like, how do you know what's happening? How do you know that programming or building apps isn't going to be a thing in the past in 5 years? And we're not going to saturate the market.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood
That's okay.
the question. I do read a lot of tech news, especially Tech Insider and YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I follow VR news in particular, because I see myself as a software developer in the future, and I want to make a game on the VR goggles.
Great.
And I'm also leaning into to look into data science, and they're trying to make human interaction with virtual goggles a new thing, and I want to try contribute on MMORPG, multiplayer, online based RPG role playing games on the VR goggles. So I think my passion keeps me updated. I love games, I love tech, and I'm an avid gamer myself.
Okay, great.
Great. Do you have time for one more before the?
Yeah, we have time, one more.
Okay. So I just want to give you like kind of scenario. So let's say you're on internship or just in your job, and you have a remote manager who, maybe they're always busy and they're just difficult to reach. And you also have a lot of downtime, and you're not always sure like what to do with it. What would you do to address that situation, and just be specific as possible?
Let's say day one, I just entered the building. My manager is on New York, and I'm stationed here in San Francisco. He's out of contact, no phone number, but I do have his email. He's my boss. Of course, I should know it. So I will try to document everything that I do for the whole day.
Okay.
Let's say I said hi to our colleagues and introduced myself. I set up coffee dates with some of our pioneers to know more about my role as an intern, and always ask what I can do to help them. And give him 3 things, highlights of 3 things that I was able to accomplish, 3 things that I was, that I'm looking into work, I'm looking forward to work on. Let's say I wasn't able to finish something and I'll work on it tomorrow, so something along the lines of that. And I will end it with problems that I faced and how I resolved them, or if not, and I can also ask him how to follow through.
Great.
Okay, all right, so before I ask you to do a quick tech scenario, just one question that's off the grid, nothing to do with anything that you guys studied or anything, is if I asked you, Enoch, what your definition of happiness is, what would you say?
My definition of happiness, that's me getting my father on retirement, having my sisters set for their futures, just having them not to worry about anything. About the Sherpa's code that I climb this mountain every day. I climb Mount Everest every day so that my children won't have to. I have been the parents of my sisters since I was 19. And now my dad needs me the most, that he's disabled. I need to be the breadwinner. And that's what I'm going to do.
Nice. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
So just one quick tech scenario. Let's say that Joey and I were working on a Word document and we wanted to send it to a colleague in Boston, and we wanted to save it in a PDF format. How do we do that?
Save it as a Word document first on your desktop and open it. From there, you can save it as PDF, save as, so file, save as, then portable document format will be available on your document type.
Okay, good. All right, good. Any questions for us?
Actually, I would like to ask how well am I performing right now, and I would like some feedback of how I did on answering your questions.
We're gonna give you formal feedback. We have a form that we're gonna fill out, but I can tell you, Enoch, I thought you did very well. You did very well in the interview. Your answers were good, you were precise, articulate, you gave nice eye contact to us, and it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Renee.
Good luck, huh?
Thanks, Enoch. Have a good one.
Thank you, Joey. My
luck.
resume, would it be needed?
Sure, if you wanna leave it for us, that's great.
Yes, unfortunately, I only have one copy.
That's okay.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll see you next time.
All right, have a
Have a
good
good
rest
one.
of the day, huh?
Actually, I will need your emails to follow up next time. So I will want to write those down.
Okay, I'm rarcher@yearup.org.
And then I'm just Jay Parker. PARKER at Europe.org.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you
Have a
very
good
much.
one. Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure
Thanks
having
again.
this interview.
Uh-huh.
I'll see you guys. Have a good day.
Alrighty,
You
now,
too.
take care.